Welcome back to our Monday morning safety. That's what we're calling it with Tyvis, Powell here.
Love
Because,
that.
you know, you were the safety for the national championship. I believe you have an MVP trophy to go along with that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that was like 50 pounds ago.
Where do you keep that trophy?
The trophy, the MVP trophy, actually sits on the set of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I figured if I kept it at home, like I would just keep it in the closet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'll put it on a place where it can be displayed and people can see it. So that's actually where it's at, yeah.
Well, you didn't want to bring it and display it here? We could have put it right in between.
You know what? I bring my rings and I'll let you.
You did bring them one time and I was.
Yeah, I could let them be on display.
All through them, wearing them. All right, it's time to break down the win over OU. More importantly, though, look at what the Buckeyes need to do. And we're calling this improvement week, Tyvis.
Yes.
It's not a bye week, it's improvement week. So let's start, and I think this is the easiest place to start. I love what happened against OU because it was kind of a wake-up call, but not the wake-up call that you want. You know, not like the this went south in a hurry.
Yeah.
They looked rough in the first half. Really, they had 600 yards of total offense. They looked good.
We just didn't look good in the red
zone.
zone.
So let's start there. What do the Buckeyes need to do there? Because there were a couple times it felt like Julian Sayin had guys, missed Brandon Ennis, missed C.J. Donaldson. What do they need to do in those moments to kind of, I know the field shrinks, but find a touchdown?
So honestly, I think that teams that run the ball in the red zone are more successful at scoring because you're getting closer there. You actually have that. You give that defense that run pass option. We became too heavily reliant on the pass. And Julian saying that, give credit where credit's due. Brian Hartline actually called really good plays. Julian saying has to see it better. You know, and this is things that happens when you got a young quarterback in there. Sometimes they just miss the read. So for him, he's got to do better of getting through his progressions, making sure he's finding the right guy and getting the ball out. You can't really hold the ball up for a long time down in the red zone. That's not really what you want to do. You want to be able to get the ball in and out your hands, which if he would have done that, they would have scored more. But I think that to fix a lot of the red zone problem, just simply run the ball because the running backs were starting to do really well. Bo Jackson hit the scene really well. C.J. Donaldson was running very tough at that time. Just run the ball, get those guys closer, and I think it makes things easier.
All right, you said his name. Bo Jackson.
Bo knows.
We have been talking about Bo Jackson all offseason. I never thought it would be this early that we'd be saying Bo is RB1. But is that a crazy thing to say? I mean, is there a world where they come out of this bye week and he got the most carries against OU, where he continues to lead this backfield in carries?
It's not crazy to think that at all. I mean, that's probably what should happen. I think with that running back room, what you do is you got to go with the guy that's producing the best. This guy has had back-to-back 100-yard games. It's not a fluke at this point. That is who he is. And you can't deny the fact that he has that burst and that speed. That makes defenses go crazy because now it's like, I got to hurry up and get there. We get these offensive linemen to continue to hurry up and get to that second level because, see, now I'm not holding this block long. If Bo Jackson's back there, I got to give him a little shimmy and get up to that linebacker to create that seam. So the plays is hitting at a way faster clip. And I think Bo Jackson is doing a really good job of breaking through these arm tackles and hitting that open field. And now that's when things get interesting. Still want to see him break one and take it all the way to the house, but I think you have to roll with that hot hand.
He was that close.
I know it.
He was
I
that
know
close.
it.
Almost took it there. All right. This is something that I think is interesting coming out of the bye week. It's typically when you see a couple other guys get their run. They use this improvement week and they're able to kind of grow, and maybe you see them on the field a little more. Do you think we see Mylan Graham coming out of this a little more? Because right now, Brian Hartline has stuck to his three guys, Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate, and Jeremiah Smith. It's hard to take those guys off the field.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of talent in that wide receiver room.
I think we need to see Mylan Graham a little bit. You know, Brandon Ennis, I thought that he would have much more of an impact. When you got guys like Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, and then you got Max Clare that's doing well, typically Brandon Ennis has the one-on-one. Like, he's the guy that teams aren't really worried about at this moment. So he should be putting up more stats than what he's doing. We're not getting enough out of that slot position. So I think we do need to pivot and see what Mylan Graham looks like. Can he get in there and be effective? Because if he can, that only makes this offense better. You want to have as many weapons on that field as possible. Not saying that Brandon Ennis is not a weapon at all. He's not being properly utilized, and we're not seeing it on Saturdays. So we need to get somebody else in there for just split time. It don't have to be a full-time thing. Couple of reps here and there. Get Mylan Graham in there to see if he can win those one-on-one battles and get more, bring more to that offense.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball and let's look at the defense. I'm going to start with the front four. I thought they played their best game of the season against OU. They really started to settle in. They really started to close that pocket constantly for the quarterback.
Yes.
But I still want to see more pressure from them. I feel like a lot of what we see with the pressure is generated from what Matt Patricia is doing. And it's coming from Arvell. It's coming from Caleb. It's coming from guys coming off the, blitzing off the edge. When you see this defense, how can they generate more pressure when they line up 3 guys on the line of scrimmage or 4 guys?
I think it comes with the pass rushing moves. They have to be better with what they're doing. Now, granted, I think this OU game is kind of weird because Parker Navarro can really run with his legs. So you really want to try to keep him contained. So you can't really do your best pass rush move because if they wash you by the quarterback, that creates the scene for Parker to get out of. So I think that they were rushing in a contained confinement. They weren't trying to go too crazy. When you go up against some of these other quarterbacks, not Washington's because Damon Williams can run as well, but when you go up against some of these other quarterbacks, you can be relentless in your pursuit to get to that quarterback. You can do these spin moves. You can do clubs and dips and rips and all of those things to get to the guy, or bully the guy. That's the best one. Bully a guy. So I think you'll see more of that. That'll get better. Or worst case scenario, you can start running twists and stunts with 4 guys. Last year we seen Jim Knowles do that. I want to say it was in the Purdue game last year when we saw those guys actually start doing twists, and it was very effective for a 4-man pass rush.
All right, the linebacker. Is this a 2-linebacker system at this point for Ohio State? I mean, it's my least favorite thing because you got 4 guys that should play. Yeah. I want to see more Riley Petterjohn, but right now it just seems like it's going to be Arvell and Sonny. Are you okay? I mean, does that allow for them to be more dynamic as a defense?
I mean, honestly, the defense is dictated by what the offense personnel is. If they're coming out in 11 personnel, meaning 1 running back, 1 tight end, that's 3 wide receivers. You always got to add up to 5. So you get 3 wide receivers out there. You can't put a linebacker on a wide receiver. So really, honestly, it just comes down to what teams that we're going against. If we go up against some of these teams that's getting into 12 personnel, meaning 1 running back, 2 tight ends, or 13, 1 running back, 3 tight ends, you get those type of personnels. That's when we'll see that extra linebacker get on the field. But I'm with you. I want to see more Riley. I want to see more Peyton. I think they're doing a fantastic job in the reps that they're getting. But if the Buckeyes continue to go out and roll, they're getting a lot of reps in the second half. So it's not like we aren't seeing these guys. We're just not seeing them in key moments.
I will say when you look at a game like Wisconsin, you're going to need more linebackers.
Yeah, you got to put your big boy
You're going to need 8
on.
linebackers in that game.
Yes.
When you look at a game like Illinois, they're going to try to run the football on you. You've got to have your 3 guys in there. But there's too much talent.
I know
not
it.
enough
You know what the
positions.
good news is?
What?
They'll be here for another 2-3 years, so we're good at the linebacker position.
Exactly. All right, we're working our way out. We did linebackers. Let's go to the secondary. Everybody's been talking about Devin Sanchez.
Yeah.
I noticed another big play, another 4th down play for OU, Devin Sanchez was on the field. That's a monster moment in that game where they have again trusted a freshman.
Yes.
Does that tell you that he is ready to be the guy for Ohio State? I mean, if you're doing that 3 games into the season, it doesn't seem like a risk you'd take unless you're ready.
Yeah, no, I think that he's absolutely earned himself on the field. The reason being is because in this game, Lorenzo Styles went down with a shoulder injury. And I was curious to see what they were going to do. Who was going to play nickel? Were they going to keep Jermaine outside and bring in another nickel? I know you got Bryce West. Was they going to go to Devin Sanchez? The answer was they went to Devin Sanchez. Yeah. They slid Jermaine Matthews down at the nickel position and went with Devin Sanchez. So that tells me right then and there, he is the best next outside guy. That's who they trust. Out of everybody in that DB room, they trust him the most. They're willing to slide one of their best corners down into the nickel position and bring in a true freshman because he showed you he can handle those things. So I think Devin Sanchez, depending on how severe Lorenzo Styles Jr.'s shoulder injury is, we might see a lot of Devin Sanchez on the field.
I will say, after the game, Lorenzo had a big old ice pack.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
So
it looked like maybe it's one of those sprained AC joints or separated shoulders.
I think we'll see him back soon enough.
Oh,
But you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean,
Buckeyes
I dealt with shoulder injuries when I played. I ended up getting shot, and I played. I never missed a game. So if it's a sprained AC joint or a separated shoulder, they got things that can get him through the game.
You never missed a game in your career?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I have played with broken wrists, separated shoulders. Actually, I never even missed a play. I remember vividly breaking my wrist against Rutgers in 2014. I broke my wrist. The running back had this long run. I tackled him. We tackled him on like the 2-yard line, and I landed on my wrist and broke it. I got up and I said, my wrist is broke, but I'm not coming out the game. So I actually ended up playing, and they ended up scoring. I went to the sideline and told them, yeah, my wrist is broke.
Do you think that they would have scored if you had come off the field? Because maybe you broke. Do you think your broken wrist?
I feel like we had a better chance with me on the field.
Okay,
I like to look at it that way.
It speaks for itself. I mean, Tyvis Powell saves the season. Plays over in a lot of people's heads. All right, he is Tyvis Powell. We've got a lot to talk about coming out of the bye week because Ohio State heading to Washington. That's coming up next week. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem. Go Bucks.